All right, everybody, welcome back to LobsterCon. Here we are for our last round of the day before we pass it off to the goated Carl and Mr. Doomwake.
It's true. And I also want to say to everyone who's come up to me today saying how much they miss the Leaving Legacy, I just got a text message from Patrick Uglo
Yeah,
who said he's been watching the stream and seeing this pre-modern bonanza in front of him has caused him to want to start playing Magic the Gathering again.
that's so wonderful.
It's amazing what this format does.
Truly.
bringing all the old faces out of the woodwork.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
it really does feel like kind of a bit of a renaissance
Yeah.
for us graybeards.
I would say
playing the
so,
format.
man. It's really exciting. It's really exciting, and the magic is great, and the vibes here are great. There's a lot going on the floor right now. We just had our pizza break delivered, so 110 or 111 pizzas just got delivered to the Dante.
That you ordered like 20 minutes ago, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Can I get 110 pizzas?
Yeah, in 20 minutes. The players are feasting down there, gorging themselves on calories before they finish out the rest of this day.
You got a carbo load. You got a carbo
Exactly.
load for build up that energy. block.
Exactly, brain power. And then also the raffle tickets are going to be drawn quite soon. So, yeah, things are moving along here. Things are exciting. I'm excited. And we are about to jump into this next round.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
blue-white control. First blue-white control of the day, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually quite cool. This is kind of the new iteration
Yep.
of blue-white control where you are not running any man lands at all. And instead, you have this super clean mana base and you get to play Sabo's Web.
Yes, and it's almost kind of like land still without either the lands or the still.
Right. Yeah.
No more man lands, and also replacing the standstills with accumulated knowledge. Which,
Yeah.
as I said earlier today, I love me some accumulated knowledge.
Me too, man. Really fun card to play. Banger from yesteryear. Very interesting to see the sleight of hand here as well. That just jumped right out at me on the page.
We got a lot of card advantage because we not only do we have the accumulated knowledge, not only do we have the cantrips of opt and sleight of hand, but also factor fiction as well. One of the other more powerful cards of the format.
Yeah, and just to circle back real quick on the Sabo's Web. So Sabo's Web has seen this really big rise in pre-modern ever since Tide got banned. It's kind of become like the de facto way to fight against man lands. And it's, it does a number on land still and just blue-white control in general. So, yeah, this is kind of like this new generation 2026 blue-white control that decides to drop all of those man lands, utility lands, everything. And instead of getting hurt by Sabo's Web, they're the ones hurting their opponents with Sabo Web.
Yeah. And I just want to say, 3 main deck powder keg.
Yeah, making a statement.
That is, for sure a statement.
Not only that, but cutting back on Wrath of God to go up on Powder Keg.
Right.
And man, it looks like it is paying off for the player here, Mr. Marco Sammon. Why don't we cut over to the next deck?
Oh boy.
Not much else you can say when you see this deck. We have full English breakfast, as we talked about before. I'm going to go through the easy part of the combo, and then you're going to go through the hard part of the combo.
Oh, lucky me.
So one of the ways that this deck is able to execute its combo is by playing a Hermit Druid, activating it, turning its entire library into its graveyard, and then using an Unearth to bring back a Shapeshifter. And because of the way that Hermit Druid works, when you activate it, you're able to order your graveyard. So you can bring back a Volrath Shapeshifter and do all sorts of graveyard manipulation. But, the easy way to do it would be to turn... actually, I don't even know. I just got lost in it. Anyways, one of the ways to do it is through Hermit Druid. The other way is to go through Survival, and then you have all sorts of funky things that you can do.
Yes, and like you said, very much a deck where graveyard order matters.
Yes.
This is actually a format where graveyard order does matter, so you need to keep your graveyards in line, and it is because of this deck. And yes, so you're right. The idea is dump these creatures into your graveyard, either through the Druid or the Survival, and then the 3 kind of key pieces are Volrath Shapeshifter, which clones the top creature card of your graveyard. And what you do is then you have Phyrexian Devourer, Phyrexian Devourer allows you to exile cards from the top of your library, which puts +1/+1 counters onto the Shapeshifter, and then you bring Triskelion to the top of your graveyard, and then use all those counters from Devourer put on it to then ping your opponent to death with the Triskelion.
Exactly. There's also there's so much stuff you can do with this. It's really incredible. I mean, one of the ways that the deck explodes is by having a Palinchron on top of its graveyard, and then you play the Volrath Shapeshifter, and then you untap all your lands, and if you have an active survival, now you have all these different lines. Psychotog is really crucial to the deck because it allows you to exile cards out of your graveyard to order it in the way that you need to order it.
Exactly.
They do things like where they turn their Shapeshifter into an Achroma and then put a bunch of counters on it. Or sorry, they put a bunch of counters on the Shapeshifter and then they turn it into an Achroma, it becomes a hasty attacking creature with a bunch of counters on it. Karmic Guide allows you to do all sorts of loops and shenanigans, and just a crazy techie thinky deck.
Yep. And sometimes it just kind of falls apart and you win anyways because you unearth a Psychotog and beat face.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really impressive deck though, and wow, I didn't even notice that it was Will Holland on it. All right, so local to Massachusetts and New England. He has been playing this. I don't know how much he's been playing this deck, but he's definitely been playing combo-oriented decks for a while now and crushing with them. And really cool to see him here at 4-1 on feature with this deck.
I have to say, I think Full English Breakfast is probably the most difficult deck to play in the format. Can you think of a more difficult deck?
Maybe Iggy Pop.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of about the same though, and this deck is just crazy though. It just has so many different angles of attack. There's so many things to worry about. I've had a lot of games where I have all these different answers and I think that I have them locked out, and then they just win in the most obscure ways. They have these new lines with Battlefield Scrounger that we didn't even touch upon.
Yep.
This should have been Carl's match, but
yeah, Carl does love his Full English Breakfast.
yeah, but we're gonna do our best here. So we have the Hermit Druid on the board, and we're going for a Mesmeric Fiend right there in order to try and reveal the opponent's hand and see what's up.
Marco, she's gonna leak it.
Yep. And so yeah, this is a cool matchup though, because it's really gonna put Full English Breakfast through the test, put it through the ringer. One of the hardest things to do with this deck is win through control, and here it is playing against a pure control deck.
Yeah, Will top deck to Chroma, probably the last thing you want to draw.
Yeah, especially with no survival. Oh wow. Okay, so here we see Cabal Therapy resolving, and shields are super duper down. Although Will's slightly hamstrung on mana. I think he's missed a land drop now.
Mm-hmm. And being able to peek at your opponent's hand as a combo play was so important.
Right, yeah.
Just knowing that you can actually go for that risky play. Shields are down.
Yeah.
That is.
Yep. And so I wonder if we're going to see. Let's see. We have Unearth in hand. And we know that the shields are down. So I wonder if next turn we're going to go for this combo. Because he's very light on mana. He's very short on mana. But he essentially has all the tools that he needs, I believe, to get through at this point. Evan, how much do you know about this deck? He's shaking his head. Not much. Not much.
Full English Breakfast, I feel, is one of those decks that wins a lot of games just because your opponent doesn't know it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that did we talk about it earlier, how this got a fix on MTGO?
Yes, yeah, we were talking earlier today.
Yep.
It's really allowed people to practice it and with it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. People got a lot of reps. Rob is laughing at us over there having to do this. Okay, we're going to have story time later. So here we see a
Fact or fiction?
Was that in response to Flashback on Cabal Therapy?
I don't know, but it's interesting seeing two of the most skill-testing cards being played
right.
back-to-back.
Yeah.
Cabal Therapy, Fact or Fiction are both considered some of the most difficult cards to play in Magic.
Okay, so here we're going to see a 3-2 split. Is that 2 counter spells versus Sleight of Hand, Disenchant, and Accumulated Knowledge?
Yes, and I think that is actually the perfect pile right there.
Yeah.
As will you're most afraid of those counter spells, so you want to put that in the hand, tempting your opponent to get that card advantage and go for the.
Yeah. We did see him sacrifice the bird in order to do this.
Yes, for the.
Okay, and now we're going to see Will walk us through the combo.
Here we go.
I'm actually confused. That are we in Will's main phase right now?
Yeah, I think did Marco. Yeah, because he cast Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, this is Will's turn pre-combat main phase.
Okay, okay. So we're going for the activation here, and we're getting a judge call immediately.
Honestly, I would do the same thing in Marco. Hey, Judge.
Yeah.
Can you watch this and just make sure this is all copacetic?
Yeah, everything's kosher over here. It looks like they were just discussing the way that the ordering of your graveyard works with Hermit Druid. So it's very unintuitive, but when you turn over your entire library off of it, you actually get to order your graveyard.
Which
Yeah.
is super important for this deck.
And it doesn't, like, it seems like you would just flip a card, but it is not how, these old cards work. They're just worded a little,
Pretty much all the cards allowed you to stack the, if you're putting cards either on the bottom of your library or into your graveyard or what have you, it gives you the option of what order.
Yep. And so here we do have the confirmation, I believe. So Will is going to be able to pick up his entire deck and order it in the way that he so chooses.
Yep.
So now, as I perfectly described how this combo works, we're going to see it executed here.
Yeah.
One of the really cool things about it, too, is that after you activate with Hermit Druid, you have the ability to sacrifice it to Cabal Therapy. Right. So you really get to clear the way. When you do this, it's so cool.
Yep, going off with. There's also a way with the Phyrexian Devourer that the way the counters go on it as well, because it also has a sack effect once it hits X number.
Right. So you just keep responding to the sacrifice trigger by adding more counters.
And then you turn it into something else, and then the sacrifice no longer goes through. I'm not 100%, as you guys can clearly tell.
Yeah.
We are not full English breakfast experts by any means.
Yeah. Well, it's like even if it did go through, you just still have this window where you turn it into the Triskelion and it has all the counters on it. So even if you did have to sacrifice it, you would still be able to remove all those counters.
Yep. So now we're seeing the Unearth.
Oh, so he floated the mana off of the birds.
Yep,
okay.
Floated the mana off the birds.
Yeah.
Unearth the Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter is Karmic Guide, I believe, is the top card. Yep. Graveyard, returning Karmic Guide to play, returning Psychotog to play,
and now this
second Karmic Guide.
Yeah, so now this is going to allow him to order his graveyard, because right now the Shapeshifter is turned off, but because he has the Psychotog in play, now he can exile cards at his leisure and order the graveyard the way that he needs to order it.
Did Marco make him go back?
Yeah, this might still be trigger on the stack right now.
Yeah, trigger on the stack. Yeah, Volrath Shapeshifter comes into play as a copy of a Karmic Guide, which returns the actual Karmic Guide to play, and then that Karmic Guide then... Oh, I think he's eating... He's eating cards with the Psychotog right now. I'm not sure why the Psychotog's still in the green.
So...
Okay. So the Volrath Shapeshifter is currently Psychotog using with the Karmic Guide trigger on the stack.
Yep. Hey, get on the mic, would you? Yeah, this is just how I said it works.
Yeah.
That's just how I said it works.
And
that just
Marco's
happened.
like, I've seen enough. Let me just scoop these cards up.
Yeah. I don't even know if this is a good or a bad matchup for blue-white control. I think Jay thinks it's good. I mean, with all the discard and the Cabal therapies and everything, I feel like it's really hard because you need to use your counters on the discard so that they don't know that the jig is up. But, yeah. I don't know. This is crazy.
Crazy.
What? Yeah. Say it into the mic, Jay. Shall we go to sideboarding, guys? Deck list, Jay. Yes, thank you. Our producer. Okay. Will is bringing in Xantid Swarm.
I was gonna say, I see Xantid Swarm. Vladimir's Vineyard, maybe trying to.
Yeah, so the
speed
Vineyard
up.
is really cool tech that allows you to just go like turbo mode with this deck. It's so sick.
Exactly.
I really like it. I really like it.
Pyroclasm, depending on how afraid he is of
No,
the soldiers. No,
not
no,
worth it. Not worth the
it?
time. That's a trap. I will
That's
say
a
it.
trap? Okay.
Yep. I'll
all
shout
right.
it until I'm blue in the face. I like, pyroclasms, engineering plagues. Don't even bother against landstill. Just kill them. Make them dead. Yeah, so I do think that the Xantid Swarms are going to come in. Perhaps Oromancer. That does give the deck some resiliency. When that ETBs, you get to return an enchantment to your hand, so you get to get back your survivals. The Gorilla Shaman is not doing anything. We don't need these pointed removals in Monk Realist or Urktubby or Rangatang. I think it's really just the Xantid Swarms, and then depending if this is one of those matchups where you try and turbo with Eladamri's Vineyard, but I think that's kind of more of like, against fair decks.
Against like Sly and things like that.
Yeah. All right.
Now, I think Meddling Mage definitely comes in for Marco
100%.
Don't
Probably the
wanna-
best card that you could have in your sideboard in this case. It's really hard to name, and it looked like Marco was slightly unfamiliar with the matchup, so that makes it even more hard, but I think that is worth it. He does have those Phyrexian Furnaces as well.
I think those have to come in.
Yeah.
This is a graveyard deck if I've ever seen one.
Yep, I think so too, especially because of Cabal Therapy. If he ever gets the chance, he can just exile those out of the graveyard, and then he does have one pointed removal. And then I think that's a Hibernation. Yeah, so he has a Hibernation, which I think could be worth it. I think that's a bit of a techie play. He could catch him with like a Hermit and a bird and like a wall or something on the battlefield, and be able to get like a 3-for-1 and just bring it, back to a place where he wants it, where there's nothing on the board, and he can start using his counter spells and such again.
Yeah. I think the Powder Kegs come out. I think the Powder Kegs are too slow in this matchup.
So I think that the Sabo's Web are your first cuts.
Yeah, Sabo's Web definitely first.
Yeah, so Sabo's Web 1 and 2, Eternal Dragon perhaps a bit slow here.
Yeah.
It is mana fixing, but I'm not sure that you necessarily want that here. Powder Keg is slightly slow, but I do like that it has the ability to, sweep the board and get Hermits off, and yeah.
Well, the thing is like, I don't know, at least for me, is that they can just still go off at instant speed.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
because not only do you need to play Powder Keg on turn 2, you need to then tick it up to 2. So that Hermit Druid, if it has 3 turns to come down,
yeah,
I just don't really like Powder Keg.
Sure.
I'm also certainly not a full English breakfast master. Maybe it's a great card against full English breakfast.
No, I think you have a good point. So it'll be interesting to see what Marco is able to do here. Again, Jay, our control expert in the booth, is thinking that this might be in favor of control. I'm unsure. Okay. Shall we cut back to the match, Jay? Thank you, sir. Here we go. Thumbs up from the booth. Players laughing and having a good time.
Yeah, Marco's in good spirits for having just lost.
Exactly. Yeah. It's probably because he's full of pizza.
That's true.
Yeah.
He just has the love of the game.
Yeah.
Just the love of the game.
Exactly. Here for the vibes at a solid 4-1-2.
Hopefully Marco's not talking shit about anyone.
But no, 4-1, he can drop a match and still be super live right now for day 2. So he's in a great position no matter what happens right here.
Yep.
And it looks like Will is going to take a mulligan.
I wanted my girlfriend to see it, but well, you can text her and tell her that you'll be online soon. But where should I just on Twitch or Twitch TV/Duress Crew? Okay.
I wonder what the players are talking about right now.
I think they're doing the raffle right now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, this is on a delay. So yeah.
Yes.
I do hear them shouting about the raffle though.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how I came up on my tickets.
What do you hope? What do you hope you won?
So ELD gave like a really cool like engraved dice tray that has like
Yeah,
the logo on it,
Yeah, I saw that.
as well as a deck box and a hydro flask type thermos
Yep.
thing.
Er-
That was
Eric-
really cool.
Eric of ELD, he's a great guy.
Yeah, Donato Giancola gave like that oversized Shiv and dragon print,
Yep.
along with a playmat and some other stuff. The 3D printed Phyrexian Dreadnought was amazing out of the Shared Discovery guys. A lot of cool stuff down there.
Yep.
I'll be happy with anything.
There's some sweet foil altered Duresses that look super cool.
Oh
super
yeah,
sick.
yeah, they're like almost metallic engraved. Okay, whoa, we are
All right.
off to the races here.
Turn 1 Xantid Swarm. That's probably the best turn 1 that Will could get in
Yeah,
this matchup.
too much yapping in the booth. We did see an opt there, and he opted to keep it on top, but I don't see a plow or any sort of removal. So,
Yeah.
oh, okay, we do have a Wrath of God. We just gotta get through one turn. It looks like Marco's taking a big breath right there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get an opt-in response. We do have a trigger on the stack though here, so Xantid Swarm, whenever it attacks, it doesn't need to do anything besides attack.
Just attack.
Yep, it turns off your opponent's ability to cast spells for the rest of the turn. So shields are down, and the world is Will's oyster right now. Looks like he's got a lot of options. I see a Hermit Druid and a Survival. So which way does he want to take this combo? It looks like we are going all in.
Yep. I mean, I think that's the correct play when you have the Xantid Swarm.
Yeah. Oh, and the Meddling Mage coming up a turn late.
No!
Marco with a little bit of hand in the head and
brutal.
gonna have to move forward here. We're gonna have a sleight of hand and hope that we see what we need. I mean, we got one turn here to find a Swords to Plowshares.
That is the whitest sleight of hand I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that's like a Swords to Plowshares
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it's a like a secret layer drop or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
don't find Plow. We get the Meddling Mage down, and here it's like, what do you even name at this point?
I think you name on Earth.
That's what I was thinking
I
too.
think that's the only card he can really name to help.
Yep.
Yep. There we go.
Yep. I'll tell you though, I was in a position playing against Will. Actually, it's coming back to me now, where we played in one of our last regionals.
Will just top deck to Chroma again.
Yeah.
That's gotta be.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
Although he does have survival.
Yep.
I was playing against Will though, and I had like 3 Meddling Mages on the board, like an Earth and other stuff named, and you just like won all of a sudden. It was just, this deck is so resilient, has so many angles to it, so many one-ofs, so many ways to get around everything. I think he did something where like he turned his Volrath shapeshifter into a Psychotog, exiled cards, and then turned it into a Birds of Paradise and swung with flying and killed me. Just like the simplest way to do it. Like, yeah.
Sometimes you just win nice and clean that way.
Yep. All right, survival coming down. We're tapped out.
Yeah, I think the naming Meddling Mage on Earth turns off the Druid win. Way through the survival.
Yeah, and we're in a really awkward spot right here, where we have the Wrath of God, but we also have Meddling Mage in play.
Right.
Okay, so Cabal Therapy misses. We have all of the information in the world right now.
We got Mana Leak.
Prohibit.
Oh, that's what it is. Prohibit.
Yeah, Prohibit is a 2-mana counter a spell with CMC 2 or less.
Yep.
And if you kick it for 2, then it becomes CMC 4 or less.
Yep, and it's Ulyss in a blue, which is why you would run it over.
Yep, exactly. And a hard counter, too, to boot.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that Land still has trouble with is always getting its mana leaks to, you know, actually counter the spell because the games go so long.
Go so long,
Yeah. Yep.
But at the same time, you can't really run counter spell with.
Right. All right, so here we see the Wrath of God coming down, but we have a survival on the other side of the table, and I mean, this is kind of the position where FEB might be able to just run away with this game super fast. And oh man, an Unearth off the top.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Unearth off the top might be able to just close it out in this turn alone.
Yeah, bringing the Druid back.
Well, even just doing survival shenanigans, you know, he can dump
Oh,
creatures
right,
into his
true.
bin with survival,
True,
and
true,
then
true.
unearth it back into play. Yeah, this is one of these moments that are just like, you're just sitting there across from full English breakfast, and you're just like, you don't know what they have, and you don't know what they're gonna do, but you know none of it's gonna feel good.
Nope. Bring the Achroma.
So we're going to start off the chain here by getting rid of a chroma. I'm not even going to bother to try and speculate. All right. Oh, okay.
He wants the protection.
Very interesting that we didn't even go for squee right there or anything.
Yeah, well, I think he's capitalizing on the fact that Marco was tapped out, wanted to get that Xantid Swarm. He knows he has the counter magic in hand.
Yeah.
Needs to get that Xantid.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly signaling here that his hand, in fact, was not in a winning position. So, you know, opting to go for a slow, more grindy route. But I'm just a little surprised to not see, you know, even a chain of like discard into squee into Xantid Swarm. But maybe those counters on the Gemstone Mine are just so precious at this point in the game.
True.
I will say, too, Marco had a slight disadvantage here by not having his utility lands, because Wasteland or Dust Bowl is a way that you are able to interrupt this combo often.
Yes.
Where they like go to do all their shenanigans, and then you just Dust Bowl them and turn the top card of their graveyard into a land.
Yes.
Yeah, and now,
also,
now they can attack.
It's pretty much all non-basics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we do see him tapping down that Gemstone Mine, discarding Battlefield Scrounger, another card that is recent to the deck with a ton of shenanigans to it. I really need to read the FEB Bible at some point. There's like a gigantic
Is there?
It's like it's more than a primer. It's like I've heard it referred to as a thesis on FEB, and I really need to read it at some point because it's like I need to wrap my head around this deck.
Exactly.
People often say that it's not quite as complicated as it seems once you really get the ins and outs of it, but it's one of those things where you have to sit down and study it and analyze it.
I feel that's kind of a cop-out somewhat because it's like, yeah, nothing's as complicated as it seems once you study it and understand it and put the work in, but you still had to put the work in the first place.
Yeah. Marco's just looking around.
It kind of, yeah, right. He's F6ing.
Right.
It kind of reminds me a little bit about Dredge back in Legacy days. Not to compare everything back to Legacy. I know beating a dead horse, but Dredge was also a graveyard-based deck that was hard to know how to interrupt properly.
Yeah.
And once people kind of learned it was kind of like, okay, this is how we do it. This is how we interact with it.
This is manageable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just see a passing of the turn.
Yeah.
So Marco is getting way more time than I would have expected him to get in this matchup. Are we going? Are we?
Mana.
Okay. It was a fact or fiction. I was like, are we just wrathing right now?
Yeah. Wrath. I mean, Wrath on a Xantid Swarm. I've seen worse things.
Yep. But it looks like we will be firing a main phase fact or fiction because he's not going to be able to do it on the opponent's turn. So.
Yep.
Smoke him while you got him. And just not coming up with Swords to Plowshare this entire match.
Right.
Yeah. Here we see the 3-2 split, lands versus spells.
Yep.
And Marco opting to just dig deeper and deeper and see if he can find a plow or something. And he cannot quite yet, but he does find a meddling mage.
He took a meddling mage, yeah.
Yeah. So that's something. Pass back here on another F6, and I can't imagine that this game goes on for another turn at this point.
I think Will's going to go off this turn.
Yeah, this has been so much setup and so much time. I mean, Marco unable to find swords, unable to find disenchant, just really bricking here and having a bad run on this, unfortunately for him.
Right.
You hate to see it. Like I said, 4-2, still super in it. Even if this ship goes down in this round, he still gets so much time to just A2. That's all you got to do. Just A2. Carl, of course, walking back into the booth at the last minute of this combo matchup. Just leaving us out here drift. All right. So we see the Devourer finally.
Yep, survival for Devourer.
Marco again, F6. Looking around, taking it all in.
He was really expecting to get a Swords to Plowshare off the top. He left that white man
Yeah,
up.
I know. I mean,
Missed.
come on. He dug 5 cards with a Factor Fiction. He looked at 2 with a Sleight of Hand.
Yeah.
Like, poor guy. But yeah, okay. So here we see.
Yep.
This is
Untapping.
going to be the simple line that any of us can understand. So we're going to play this Volrath Shapeshifter. We're going to turn it into a Phyrexian Devourer, and then all we have to do. Oh wait,
He's got
maybe it's
Devour on
not
the
as simple as I thought.
Devour on the top. I still think he's going to be activating Survival a couple times.
Carl, do you want to put the headphones on and give us a quick rundown on this? Yeah. Okay, here we
Carl,
go.
our
I'm
resident
passing
full
the
English
mic
breakfast
to the
expert.
resident expert.
I don't know about an expert, but I'm resident something. All right, so Will looks like he's going to. Hi, everybody, by the way. I think Will attacked with his Xantid Swarm yet or no?
Not yet.
No, okay, so Will's going to attack with his Xantid Swarm. He had to use his Gemstone Mine, otherwise it would have covered up his creatures, which would have been bad. So it looks like he's going to go for a Survival away his Shapeshifter, get a Devourer, then unearth the Shapeshifter, discard the Devourer, pump, then discard Trike and kill him. And I'm out.
I was just about to say that, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I just wanted to pass it off, and yeah. It was on the tip of my tongue.
You're tired.
Yeah. I'm tired, Yeah.
The Psychotog.
Grinning at his opponent. Marco F6 forced to take game actions. Forced to cut his opponent's deck. Being a good sport, though, no doubt. I mean, it's a tough way to go down when you're just like digging that hard and you're just coming up short on everything.
Yep. Unearth for the Shapeshifter, grabbing Karmic Guide.
Okay.
Trigger on the stack.
Yeah, because it turns into the Karmic Guide because the Unearth has not yet resolved.
Right.
Yeah. Now we're doing Battlefield Scrounger stuff. Okay.
Ooh.
Battlefield Scrounger, if you have Threshold, you can put 3 cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library.
Yep. Once again, just kind of help clear
Yep.
the rest Shapeshifter.
He already has the Triskelion in hand.
Yep.
So now he's just going to exile the top.
Yep, so he's exiling the top because that Shapeshifter is now the Phyrexian Devourer, exiling a bunch of cards, putting a bunch of counters on the Shapeshifter.
Yep.
So he gets enough. Alien on top, and
Yep. Marco, making him play honest Magic here. Go through the motions. Make sure he's got it. Make your opponent win.
yep.
Respect.
Yeah, so Will has so now he's going to activate Survival, putting Triskelion on top. Volrath's Shapeshifter becomes Triskelion, pings him a million times with all of the counter.
Yep. And it's just like we wrote it up, Jerry.
Just like we wrote it up. I will say the legacy version of Full English Breakfast is much easier.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it runs that ooze.
Right,
that is
necrotic ooze.
Necrotic ooze
Yeah.
that doesn't care about graveyard order. It's just every card
Yes.
in your graveyard
yeah.
at the same time.
I know, it's so funny. It's just like the completely watered down version where it's like necrotic ooze just gains all of the abilities and you don't have to do any of these extra steps. Yeah.
If only Wizards had not ruined Legacy as a format.
If only.
But then
If
we wouldn't
only.
be here all enjoying Premodern.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a delight to have you with us today. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much a Premodern player through and through.
yeah.
I haven't sleeved up a Legacy deck since 2019.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Wizards, for giving us Jeremy. He is a delight and a treasure. And I've had a great time doing commentary with you
man,
today.
It's been a blast.
I think that's it for us, right?
I think we have. Do we have one more round?
Oh.
Yeah, that was the backup match.
Oh, okay.
That was just such a long backup match. It felt like a whole
Oh,
round.
okay. Well, now I have to take back all those nice things I said so that I can say them later.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. With interest.
Right.